Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Sterling Heights City Council to order. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them courage and wisdom to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Riska. Can we please have the roll call tonight?
Mayor Taylor,
Here.
Mrs. Sarowski, Mrs. Koski,
Present.
Mr. Radke,
Present.
Smith,
Present.
Here.
Present.
Thank you, Mrs. Sarowski sends her regrets. She cannot be here tonight, but she will definitely be back for the next city council meeting. Council, we need approval of the agenda tonight.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski.
move to approve the agenda. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First item on our agenda tonight, as always, is a report from our city manager, Mark Vanderpool. Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. I know you'll be happy to know that I have a very brief report this evening. And let me begin by saying that the Sterling Heights Drug-Free Coalition, which is really doing an amazing job in the community, is looking for volunteers. So anyone at home who has an interest in helping this coalition at their various events, normally quarterly or so, they're looking for volunteers. So please contact our lieutenant, or I should say sergeant, Aaron Susala, and you can reach him by simply contacting the police department, calling 446-CITY, or emailing the city's main number as well. So again, that's our drug-free coalition. We'd love to have your help. Also, I wanted to remind everyone that we do have new hours for our library, and they began on January 9th. So the public library hours now, really the only hours that have changed are Monday through Thursday. And the new hours are 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. So previously they were 9:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we simply moved the hours up to better align with the traffic in the library and also to be more consistent with the hours at the city campus as well. And we just didn't see a lot of traffic during that 8 to 9 p.m. Time period. So please note those changes. There's no change on Friday, Saturday, or Sundays, and the library is open on Sundays from September to May, 1 to 5 p.m. Just so everyone knows that. That's important during these winter months. You can always count on the library on Sundays. Also, I wanted to share a piece of good news. The Michigan Parks and Recreation Association, for those who haven't read this on our social media, known as MParks, recently announced the Sterling Heights Parks and Recreation Department will receive an award of recognition this year at the MParks Conference and Trade Show in Lansing on March 8th. The judging criteria included the project's purpose, local significance, degree of innovation, aesthetic quality, functionality, construction viability, and the unique techniques used in implementation. So before you on the screen are some photos of our esports arena, and you can see kids of all ages enjoy this, younger and older, and it's incredibly popular. I know the mayor's kids have frequent this very regularly. And like so many amenities at the community center, it is incredibly popular. So wonderful to see. It's really wonderful that the city of Sterling Heights is being recognized statewide for quality of life amenities. And I wanted to make sure that the community is aware of this good news. And Mayor, once again, I'm sure you're glad to know that is the end of my report this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Vanderpool. Some very cute kids in that picture, a couple very cute, I have to say myself. With that, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda tonight, which is the swearing-in ceremony for new police officers. We have a presentation from our police chief, Dale Wojciechowski. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor, members of council, Mr. Vanderpool. Another great night, swearing in 2 more officers. Feels like we're doing this every month. And it's not because we feel like we're doing it, we are. With Brandon and Brian, this brings 80 new officers in 7 years, 80. So we only have 160 sworn officers here. That means half of our department has been here 7 years or less. So we've had a huge transition. And we've been battling with other cities for this limited pool of law enforcement officers. I'm happy to say I also teach at the college and at the police academy. We have the largest police academy in the last 5 years. So we have 35 members in that Macomb Regional, Macomb Community College's police academy, which is a great sign, not only for Sterling Heights, but for every agency in Macomb County, who are really desperate for qualified police officers. As you know, a couple of years ago, our hiring list, 100 people applied. We had 78 on our final list. This hiring list, we had about 65 apply, 47, 48 showed up for the interview. And Brandon and Brian were number 1 and number 2. So this is our brand new list with the top candidates. Number 1. Who was number 1? All right, Brandon, very nice. So we're starting off, and we anticipate off this list, we could be hiring another 8 to 10 officers off this list. And so we're just so fortunate, and we have some upcoming retirements coming in as Sterling Heights kind of reinvents itself. And it seems like every single year there's a new priority, a new challenge for law enforcement, and we, again, are taking some really, really good officers on board here, and they seem to all be coming from other agencies. Brandon Rule, which is to my left, has an associate's in general studies from Oakland Community College. He has 4 years of law enforcement experience. He worked at the West Bloomfield Police Department, and he's coming to us from Garden City's Police Department. So we thank you, Brandon and Brian Hallapi, who's got a bachelor's of science in criminal justice from Madonna, 6 years of law enforcement experience. And he comes to us from Canton Township Police Department. He started there in 2019, but before being a police officer in Canton Township, he worked several years in Norfolk, Virginia as a police officer. So again, 2 guys that left their agency, came to Sterling Heights, and I think they're fully intending on being here for 25 years. I talked to their moms and dads and parents over here, and they want them to be here for 25 years. So it takes a lot to leave the agency you're with and to come to Sterling Heights, and we have some of the highest, our hiring list has the top number of candidates. I talked to a lot of police chiefs, and they come here to Sterling Heights for a reason. It's not only just paying benefits, it's the quality of the job, the size of the agency, the things you guys are going to be able to do for the next 25 years. It's the governance by our elected leaders, the city council. We are on sound financial grounds, and for a guy making a 25-year commitment, they want to make sure the city is going to be here in 25 years. And Sterling Heights has done everything to put itself in that position. So with that, guys, let's do the swearing in. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brian Hallapi,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that of the state of Michigan,
and that of the state of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer
in and for the city of Sterling Heights,
in and for the city of Sterling Heights.
and that I will strive to maintain the highest standards of that department
I will strive to maintain the highest standards of that department
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
to the best of my knowledge and ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you for your
All right, Brandon, we'll start with you if you want to say a few words.
All right. Hi, I'm Brandon Ruel. I'm 25 years old. I do come from the Livonia, Redford area growing up. As the chief previously stated, I came from Garden City and West Bloomfield, where I had 4 years of experience. With me, I have my lovely wife, Abby, my mother-in-law, Linda, my parents, Lisa and Jerry, and then my best friend, Austin. Just really excited for this opportunity. Everyone knows that Sterling Heights has always been the best of the best and a very destination-type department. So to make the jump for the 3rd time, it was really without much hesitation, and just really grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Good evening, I'm Brian Hallapi. I know that I started my career in Norfolk, Virginia, but I am actually from Chesterfield, Michigan. I do know Macomb County pretty well. My parents are here this evening, so I really appreciate them supporting me. So I did move out of state, but ultimately made the decision to come back in 2019. I did actually want to work for the city of Sterling Heights. during that time, but unfortunately, they just weren't hiring at the time. So I ended up in Canton Township, but I kept my eyes on the prize the whole time. And fortunately, I'm here today. So I really appreciate you having me here. I vow to conduct my duties in a manner that presents the city and the department in a positive manner. And thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes my presentation.
All right, Chief, I will, as always, open it up to council for any comments. Ms. Sarowski isn't here, but if she were here, I know what she would say. And she'd be very proud of you. Anyone else, council?
Well,
Mr. Yanes?
Yeah, I normally I don't say much because Mrs. Sarowski usually says it all. Says it all. But I do want to say congratulations to the both of you. This is a great department. Ironically, I would think that Livonia and Canton are sort of Sterling Heights-ish in size and scope. We are the fourth largest city in the state, so you want to keep that in mind. But I'm a retired firefighter here in Sterling Heights. This is a great job, guys. This is a great job. And we all get along here, and we have a reputation as one of the safest cities, well, the safest large city in the state of Michigan, and one of the safest in the country. It's because we have such a great police department. And I am certain that you two will uphold the values that we have here in the police department and make us proud. I also noted, Chief, that the number one guy has an associate's degree and the number two guy has a bachelor's degree. So I, who have an associate's degree from Oakland Community College myself, think that's pretty awesome. So, anyways, congratulations.
Mr. Radke?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Gentlemen, welcome to Sterling Heights. You know, our residents will give you everything you need to do your job the best way possible. What we're going to expect from you is do the job at the highest level, because we have a very high standard here. You guys both alluded to it. We expect a lot, but you're going to have such a great time working here, because community is behind you. We are, as Councilman Yanez alluded to, one of the safest cities. It's a great place to live. Hopefully you'll move to Sterling Heights. That's what I always encourage everyone. But we're going to do everything we can to help you. We want you guys to keep the standard high and make sure that we're respected as Sterling Heights. And one more thing, I used to work in Norfolk, Virginia, so that's a very different kind of place. So welcome home, right? That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Radke. Council, anyone else? So I was teasing Ms. Sarowski a little bit because she's not here right now. She's actually visiting her son, who is a captain, I believe, in the Marine. Say that?
The major.
Major in the Marine Corps, and he is a military police officer. So, you know, there's a fondness I think all seven of us have for our police department, and more importantly, the 134,000 residents have. I think you'll find, if you don't know already, that they support our police very strongly, and they will hopefully encourage you to continue to do this job, do it to the best of your ability. You know, a quick kudos to our chief. You know, our police department, we got a message around 7:30 or 7:45 this morning about break-in, or not a break-in, but attempted car robbery at the Stellantis plant. It's always a good day when the bad guys try to commit some crime around 5 in the morning, and it's on the like 7 o'clock news that we caught them. All of them, right? And the officers are all safe. Everybody is protected. The property is protected, and people can rest assured that crime doesn't pay in Sterling Heights. So, you know, you guys both touched on it, but I just love the idea that you want to get to work here. You want to make the city proud. And so Godspeed to both of you. God bless both of you. Thank you to your families for being here and supporting them, and continue to support them. I know you will, and you can rest assured that we will too, because we want them coming home safe just as much as you do. So, Chief, one big round of applause for you and the two new hires here. You're dismissed. Have a good night, guys. Thank you again. Yep.
Have some fun.
All right. We will move on to the next item tonight, which is a public hearing, and this is to consider the application by Ben Meldrum on behalf of Meldrum Properties LLC for a residential planned unit development known as the Flats on approximately 2 acres of land situated on the west side of Utica Road, south of 19.5 mile, PPUD 22-0002. At this point, I would normally open up the public hearing. However, we have an announcement that there was a little bit of a discrepancy with the publication and the notice, so we are ultimately going to be postponing this item. We are not going to be considering it tonight. However, I will allow for audience participation under our rules, but it will not be a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? If not, does somebody know the next council meeting date?
February 7th.
February 7th. Is that appropriate to postpone to the February 7th meeting, Mr. Koszybski? Yes. Okay, council, I would entertain a motion to postpone this item to the February 7th, 2023 city council meeting.
So moved.
Support. It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on the consent agenda? If not, council, we need a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Koski, sorry.
move to approve the consent agenda as presented. Support.
It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is a consideration item, and this is to consider an appointment to the City of Sterling Heights Board of Code Appeals. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this item? If not, council, we need a motion. Going once, going twice.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Radke.
the city administration had sent us an email saying they'd asked us to postpone this to the first meeting in June, because they had a dearth of candidates available. I don't know what the first meeting in June is, but I'd like to move to postpone what? 6th. I move to postpone this item to the June 6th, city council meeting.
Support. It's been moved and supported with no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That completes that portion of our agenda. We will move on to communication from citizens. Is there anyone who would like to speak under this portion of the meeting tonight? Seeing no one, close that, and we'll go into reports from city administration. Mr. Vanderpool, anything tonight?
Nothing further, Mayor.
Mr. Koszybski?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Council, any reports, new business?
Mayor Taylor?
Mrs. Schmidt?
Thank you. Just briefly, I just want to let the residents know about a very important event that's going on this Sunday. It's called the Battle of the Badges. It's actually a hockey game taking place at the Fraser Hockey Arena, whatever it's called now, Big Boy Arena, whatever it's called. It's the Sterling Heights Police Department versus the Clinton Township Police Department. And it's at noon on this Sunday, the 22nd, $10 at the door, no pre-sales. This supports one of our officers who is right now battling for his life with cancer, and it's a fundraiser for him and his very young family. He has an infant child and a wife, and we'd like to show all the support we can. And I really encourage everybody to come out and support this great event. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Council, anyone else? Mr. Yanas?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, last year, a number of families who have family members on the autism spectrum got together, and they reorganized to create the Autism Society of Greater Detroit, which is the official, the Autism Society is the official national organization, so they are sanctioned by the official national organization. They've been working diligently to put their organization together. They generously asked me to sit on the board, which I do, and we are finally putting the final steps together. We have to have a kickoff event, but we're looking for people who want to get involved in the organization, especially, obviously families with family members that are on the spectrum. So we have a website now. It's Autism Society Greater Detroit. .org, Autism Society Greater Detroit.org. You can go there, you can find out a lot about the organization, and sign up to volunteer, what have you. But, the Greater Detroit, we go all the way from St. Clair County to Washtenaw County, so it's a large territory. And because we are a city that prides ourselves on diversity, equity, and inclusion, we want to make sure those on the autism spectrum are included in events that not only the city has, but all municipalities. I have been encouraging the other members of this organization to go to their city council and township board meetings and also make announcements at those meetings just to get the word out. So And then, so that's that. And then we have strategic planning coming up, correct? On Monday, and I'm looking forward to that. So, a lot of stuff going on. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Yanez, and for the residents out there, that's Monday at 8:30 in the morning. Starting time, Mr. Vanderpool, at the community center.
Yeah, by the time we actually get going, Mayor, it'll be closer at 9, but, and then we'll conclude right around 5 o'clock.
Okay, that sounds good, so I can sleep in a little bit yourself. Okay. Mrs. Zarko.
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Tonight's one of those, I don't even know where I'm going to start, but I know that I have to get this message out there. Some of you will remember that, especially people that come to our council meetings on a regular basis, and you know who they are and what they're in favor of. But I'm sure some of you remember Nancy Hoffman, and Nancy Hoffman was confined to a wheelchair. She was born with spinal bifida, and she would come to our council meetings by way of Smart Bus. And she was always interested in what the city was doing. Well, Nancy passed away 2 weeks ago, and because I've known the family since Nancy was probably 14 years old, I went to the funeral. And you know yourself, when you sit at a funeral, sometimes you don't always sit with family and friends. It's just like you sit at a table. Well, and some people don't know what I do here at the city, so I was listening to some of the conversation that was going around the table. And the first comment was, and I had to, as I'm in my mind, I'm trying to write these down because I wanted to remember, but the first person said, I think the city of Sterling Heights really knows what it's like to be a community. You know, they go out and provide these services for the residents. Did you know that there were 5 bus drivers from the senior center that came here for the funeral? And so the director of Parks and Rec was here as well, as also some of the staff from the senior center. They all came to the funeral because they knew Nancy. So then, as I was listening to this, you know, so often we hear negative things, but it was, to me, so important to give back what I heard that was positive. And one was, it was about the city, it was about our staff, and about the services that we provide. And I couldn't be more proud than when I was sitting there and listening to people talk about us that didn't live in Sterling Heights that thought we were a great place to live. So I just had to share that with you. And Nancy, God rest your soul. Nothing further.
We'll miss her. A good tribute, Ms. Zarko. Thank you for that.
Very good.
Mrs., anyone else? Mr. Radke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just very briefly, I'm looking very forward to strategic planning next week. I think it's the most fun meeting of the year. We really talk about all kinds of stuff, so I can't wait to see everyone there. Hopefully, we have some good audience participation, too. Secondly, I was hoping that without objection, I could have a resolution added to our next council meeting. Public Works Commissioner Candace Miller has sent out a model resolution to try to rein in the amount of dumping that Oakland County does in the Red Run drain. And other communities around us have been passing it. I think that we should pass it in solidarity with the commissioner's work, because as anyone who is close to the Red Run drain during a heavy rainstorm knows, Oakland County dumps it, but it flows right through Sterling Heights. And this is a problem that for the people who live around there, especially sometimes with the odor. So I'd fully support her resolution, and I'd resolve that we pass it, hopefully next meeting, and then send it to our neighboring communities and to the Oakland County Public Works Commissioner, who is not Public Works Commissioner, he is the Drain Commissioner, or Water Resources.
Yeah, whatever they call it.
Title, yeah. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Radke.
Without objection, I guess.
Any objection to having that presented at the next meeting for our consideration? Hearing none. Do you need any further direction? We have the model.
Mayor, we have the model, and we'll be ready to go at the next meeting.
Okay. Anything tonight, Mrs. Koski?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just a question. Will we be posting the agenda for the strategic planning meeting in case there's any resident that would want to know what we're going to be discussing?
Mr. Vanderpool.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilwoman Koski, yes, we will be, and the clerk can correct me if I'm wrong, but because it's on Monday, I believe it'll be officially posted on Thursday. Is that correct? Okay, so normally we would post it on Friday if it's Tuesday, but we're a day early. So yes, it will be posted. We'll have plenty of backup material, and we'll look forward to seeing everyone there. And just a point of clarification, it does officially start at 8:30 a.m.
And the public is welcome.
Absolutely.
By 8:30 a.m., I will have the dog at daycare, the kids to school, and I'll be in my seat, ready to go. Anything else tonight? If not, I would just say thank you for coming out tonight and participating, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. No discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.